We are in day 35, and we're very, very concerned to get close to the Kadosh Baruch Hu, of course. That's what we're focusing on. If that's not what you're focusing on, you're missing the point of life. So I want to quote a verse, a Mishnah, to be more precise, from Tractate Avot. We learned a lot about it lately. This is called the Ethics of the Fathers. It's part of the Mishnah. And there are 6 chapters, and each chapter is broken into many Mishnayot. In the 5th chapter, Mishnah number 5, says something very, very powerful. It says, Asara nisim nesu bebet hamikdash la'avotenu. There were 10 miracles that happened to our forefathers, not Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, but to our fathers in Beit HaMikdash. And then it goes through all the list of the miracles that happen in the Beit HaMikdash. Nothing comes by coincidence. Now we are in the 9 days where we're mourning the destruction of Beit HaMikdash. It's very important to know what was going on there and why it was destroyed. But now I want to focus on something completely different, which, by the way, is one of the causes for the destruction of the temple. But it says that there were 10 miracles that happened in the Beit HaMikdash. Many different miracles happened there. The meat never went rotten. There was no flies on the meat. A pregnant woman never had a miscarriage because of the scent of the meat, and all sorts of other miracles. You can go to chapter 5 in Tractate Avot, Mishnah 5, read it, you'll see for yourself. But the 8th miracle that happened, which it's funny that that's how our sages decided to put it in number 8, and nothing happens by chance, because 8 is the number that signifies above nature. 1 through 7 is in nature. The world was created in 7 days. But the 8, number 8, is always assigned to above nature. So Mishnah, the 8th part in this Mishnah, it says, Omdim tzfufim umishtachavim revachim. There was an unbelievable miracle that people will stand close to each other, but when it came to bow down, they were able to bow down completely. But you know, they used to bow down in the Beit HaMikdash, not like us putting the head down. They used to lie on their stomach and spread their hands and legs. That's how they used to bow down Beit HaMikdash. We kind of bow down similar to that on Yom Kippur, where we actually go down. But in Beit HaMikdash, they would lie down on their stomach and spread their hands and legs. Now, how can it be? You know how small this whole area is? Thousands of people would be able to go into the courtyard. So it says one of the miracles that they would stand next to each other like it's safuf, means close to each other. But when it came to bow down, there was a lot of space. Now, besides the miracle and many other miracles that happen, it's very nice. Okay, so you're teaching me about a miracle. Good. We know about many, many miracles. But why is this miracle so significant? And why is that connected to the destruction of the temple? And how is that connected to what I want to work on, getting closer to Hashem? So I heard a beautiful explanation on that, is that when I bow down to another person, not physically, meaning I accept another person's existence, then there's room for everybody. But when I'm not able to bow down and make room for another person, then we stand very tight next to each other. And I'll give you an example. Space is not necessarily distance and what they call in this world space. In Hebrew it's called revachim, you know, that there's a space, because I've been to houses in my trips to the United States that there were 40,000 square feet, 50,000 square feet. I'm talking about mansions, and 2 people would live there. I was once hosted in a house. Unbelievable. Took pictures. I said my wife will never believe where I'm sleeping. Everything was unbelievable. Pe'er, you know how you say pe'er is like, it's not even fancy. It's like beyond fancy. Royal. What? Opulent? Something out of this world. But 2 people lived there. He lived in his quarter. She lived in her quarter. Didn't even live together. And, you know, sour face to each other all day long. I was just hosted there because I came to that city to give lectures. So they wanted to host me in a nice place. They said, okay, we're going to host the rabbi. I looked at the place, you know, and then in the same trip I was in a different city, A small house, 5 kids, didn't have much money, very small. They let me sleep in the daughter's room. I slept in the room with Barbies and dolls everywhere, but you felt warmth, love, sincerity, closeness. You saw between the husband and the wife, they didn't have to do anything. I saw that there's appreciation, respect, love. And I was like, look at that. Here you have a mansion. I can't even count how much square footage was there and how much probably this place cost. But distance. There was very obvious distance. And on the other side of the country, small house, not a lot of money, but you saw warmth, love, respect, and all those good things. This is what the Mishnah is coming and telling me. I don't need to bow to anybody, by the way. Don't take my words out of context. You only bow to the Master of the universe, and that's the only thing you bow to. But when it says to bow down, it means that I respect your existence. I don't need to agree with you. I don't need to agree with every word that you say. I don't need to agree with the group you associate with, or how you dress, or how you pronounce the words, or which shul you go to. And I don't need to agree with you on many other things, even in things that might be very, very powerful. You know, now the whole thing with the masks, I'm not going to even get into it. Some hold by that it's a complete hoax, and some will not go even to go to sleep without their mask. So I personally, and like many others, it's a whole big hoax, this whole mask thing. And it's not that I'm some cuckoo. There's scientific and medical explanations to prove that it doesn't work. And there are many doctors, professors, and many other people who will back up what I say. But if you want to walk with a mask, go with a mask. I'm going to bother you now. I'm going to now bully you. I'm going to now tell you that you are endangering me. No, you want to walk with a mask? Go with a mask. I don't bother. I doesn't care. Now, if it's coming to hurt me in any other way, that's a whole different thing. But you believe in something? Believe. Good. This is, in other words, you make space to other people. Don't come into my space and attack me, and I'll leave you in your space. And you know what? The Beit HaMikdash was destroyed because we did not know how to make space for other people. And I'm just giving something more current with the masks. And there's a lot to argue on that, and there's no point of even to argue on that. When I see people arguing about that, you see 100% the success of the Samech Mem coming in between two groups of people to create an argument, to create disagreement, to create a fight. Why let him? You believe in the mask? Okay, wear them. Don't come and attack me right now. I'm not endangering you. So the point, and this is one example out of many, the point we want to take from that, because my main goal is to get close to Hashem. Hashem said, you will never get close to me if you don't know how to get close to another person. How are you going to make room for Hashem in your life if you don't know how to make room to another individual in your life? Now forget about the masks now. Your wife. Your husband. I mean, I don't have a husband, Baruch Hashem. I hope you don't have husbands. But in this case, we're talking about our wives. I need to make space for my wife. Doesn't mean I'm going to agree with her with everything that she says. Doesn't mean I'm going to agree with my in-laws. Doesn't mean I'm going to agree with everything that she comes in. But she's my wife. I need to make space for her. This is in a metaphorical where I bow down. You also have feelings. You also exist in my life. You also have your habits and whatever it is. Now, it doesn't mean I always have to agree with everything, but don't make a fight out of that. Don't make an argument. Now, of course, my words can easily be taken out of context because somebody's going to come and say, yeah, but what about? I'm talking about people in my life. I'm talking about my wife or a husband, my kids, my boss, my in-laws, whatever it is. People that are around me. We're sitting here in a congregation. Doesn't mean everybody likes each other here. You don't like so-and-so, move to the other side of the shul. You don't need to deal with them right now. You don't need to get into a friction, argument, or disagreement. You need to know how to make space for another person. Why? Because they also have an existence. They also need to shine. They also have feelings, thoughts, opinions. Now, if I know how to bow down, it becomes a lot of space between everybody. That's when the Mishnah says, Omdim tzfufim, mishtachavim, revachim. Because if you bow down, not physically, you make room for another person, suddenly there's room for everybody. Everybody can get along. The temple was destroyed because we don't know how to get along. It doesn't mean you need to agree with me with everything. I don't expect everybody to agree with me. A few months ago when I published a few lectures, long lectures about the current situation and Corona and everything that's going on, many saw eye to eye and decided to click that like button or whatever to write a nice comment. Some people, which I didn't expect everybody to agree with me, did not agree with me. You don't agree with me, stop the video, go on to your business. People wrote disgusting things, disgusting. Some person wrote, I'm off my medication, put me back on the rabbi's off his medication, put him back on his medication, he's going cuckoo. What are you, becoming my doctor now if I'm on medication or not medication? Do I make fun of you because I don't agree with what you say? I'll say kindly, I don't agree with you. Thank you. And if you don't agree, it doesn't say anywhere that it's an obligation to write a comment, a disgusting comment. You don't want to agree with me, don't agree with me. You think I agree with most people that are in front of me? But I don't put them down, I don't insult them. Make room for other people, especially when it comes to us and we need to rebuild the Beit HaMikdash. We are lagging behind in our chances of building Beit HaMikdash because we don't even know how to give the time of day to another person that doesn't agree with me. So don't go now to people that are not in my proximity. That's a whole different thing. This I don't think we'll ever master till the nuclear bombs are going to start falling here and people are going to start saying, okay, I got the point. Yeah, I'm going to like you. And nuclear bombs, asteroids, whatever you want, earthquakes, it's going to happen. Don't think it's not going to happen. Hashem already had it up to here with how we treat each other. And that's the only way how we're going to learn to respect each other. But in the meantime, let's focus on our own circle. In your home, wife or husband, your kids, in-laws, cousins, whatever, in the congregation, a place of work, we need to know how to bend down. Not physically bow to anybody, but bend down. Saying in other words, here, you also need to have a few moments of fame. You need your existence. I will move aside a little bit to make room for you. I don't need to agree with you, I don't need to like you, I don't need to worship you, I don't need anything. But I need to coexist with you. So this Mishnah, why was it such a miracle in the Beit HaMikdash? Why was it in the list of the 10 miracles? Because without that, the Beit HaMikdash would not exist. That's why it was a miracle. It was a miracle that people were able to make space for others. Here, you can also stand next to me. You're Ashkenazi, you're Sephardi, you're Lubavitch, you're Breslev, you're this, who cares? Who cares where you come from? You are a human being, you have feelings, you have your own opinions. Here, come, you can stand, you can share the space with me. When we know how to share space with others, we're going to have Beit HaMikdash. We're going to be able to really bow down to the Master of the universe. So it takes from us to make room for another person. Bowing down, in other words, is make room for another person. Make space for other people. It can be as close as your wife, and it can be as distant as somebody you never even met with completely different political opinions than you, completely different opinions in everything. But why do you have to eat that person alive? So you're Republican and you're a Democrat? Okay, whatever. You stay on this side on the room. I'll stay on this side. Why do you have to eat each other? Why do you think Hashem by mistake created all these groups? It's not a mistake. Hashem wants to see. Now let's see you getting along. When you're Sephardi and you're Ashkenazi. Or in politics, you're a Democrat, you are a Republican. Who cares? Now, when it's time to argue, if the argument is the Shem Shemayim, for the sake of evidence, it's a different argument. But if I'm arguing like a animal, and then it becomes violent and vicious and ruthless, and that's not what Hashem is interested. So now that we're mourning the destruction of the Beit HaMikdash, this is one of the many tips, because really what's the Beit HaMikdash for? For me to come closer to Hashem. That's what it is. Hashem doesn't need us, He doesn't need anything here. But He's creating a space for Him to dwell in this world so we can become closer to Hashem. What is the main theme of Beit HaMikdash? Sacrifices. In Hebrew, sacrifice is korban. Korban comes from the root karov, kiruv, to come closer. When Mashiach is going to come very soon, at some point it's going to change and we're still going to have sacrifices. It's not going to be animals. It's going to be vegetation and inanimates, oil and stuff like that. Like they also had this type of korbanot of sacrifice. But the whole idea of the korban is to become close, karov, to the Kadosh Baruch Hu. So how do you become karov? Then we need Bet HaMikdash. How do you have Bet HaMikdash? Then make space for another person. Whether you're happy with it or not, or you like the person or not, but you have to know how to make space to others. You know how to make space to others, then eventually you'll become close to the Kadosh Baruch Hu. Because we will have Bet HaMikdash one way or another. We just want to make it come faster, smoother, sweeter, with mercy. So start practicing making space to other people.